Welcome to the Sisters of the Shire podcast, where we talk about the epic world that is Middle-earth, created by our hero, J.R.R. Tolkien, or Tolkien, whatever you prefer. Today, we are finishing the final chapter of the Silmarillion. I can't believe it. We did it. We got here. I mean, there's more after. There's more after, but whatever. The chapter is the last one that we're working on today. So, if you don't want any spoilers, please go back to the first episode and start from there. It's only 45 episodes ago. You can do it. But trust us, it'll make things a lot easier to understand instead of jumping in right now, because we are literally on the last chapter. I mean, come on. Spoilers, of course. But we are here to be your guides. So
whether you've read the Silmarillion before, like me, or you're hearing it for the first time, like Abby, our quest is to make it fun and easy to understand for everyone, no matter where you are in your Tolkien journey. So as we make our way through the world of the great J.R.R. Tolkien, we hope that you can join us.
Yeah.
So let's go.
It'll be fun. Let's go.
So much fun. Okay, so a few things to discuss first. I'm not sure how many of you guys saw my little Instagram movie challenge. Only 2 people responded, so I'm kind of offended. Maybe it was a really tough challenge. I don't know. But those 2 people, I told them I would give them a shout out. The correct answer to the meme out there was, Len, how about some witty banter? Rah! I don't quite know where to go with that. Is obviously one of the best movies ever, Megamind. The winner goes to, and I'm going to try so hard to say it cool, at Tyranniel _Elrondcel.
Oh,
I think I did that right. Yes. She is not quite a listener, but she has been commenting and has been following our Instagram for a while. So thank you for your support. Also,
and I hope
with
you
a
become a
runner-up
listener soon.
Right? I mean, we're pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie. And then we have our runner-up. Second place winner goes to at _Lennyboy or Lenart, who specifically asked us to come up with a nickname for him. So, Abby, what did you decide his nickname was?
Oh, gosh. Okay, hold on. So I decided I'm going to say it in, I think I sent it in Sindarin first.
Okay.
So there's 2 options. There's
Right.
Len I Polodrin Ankti or Len Anktina Polodrin, which is Len or Lenny. I'm going with Len because it sounds more fantastical. Of the strong jawline, or Len whose jawline is strong. We are only basing this nickname off of the pictures that we saw on your public Instagram, so which was basically showcasing your very masculine, strong jawline you've got going on. So I hope you enjoy your beautiful new nickname. Thank you for answering us. And I want to apologize right now. I'm in a new location for recording. New in the past few episodes. I mean, I've recorded here before, but I've got the squeaky chair. I'm so sorry.
Back to the squeaky chair. And I'm already hearing the squeakiness, and I'm like, I don't know how I'm going to edit that out.
You just have to know that I'm not a robot, and I have to move my body every few seconds so I can readjust. So please, just
especially because we're going to be here a while.
Bear with me. I gave you a break from squeaky chair for a while, so
you did. Okay. Also, I want to give the most amazing shout out to the Reddit user who literally made a comic about one of our conversations that we had here on the podcast about Fëanor being like Iron Man. That literally, Abby can attest to this. I'm not like a extrovert person. I don't have emotions on the outside. They kind of stay on the inside. I don't know why I'm built like this, but I literally was doing a happy dance and like squealing in my car when I saw this. It takes a lot for me to do that. Like, I'm one of those weirdos that like opens a present and I'm like, thank you. Like, I'm just built differently. But this Reddit user by the name of HBI2K literally just made my year, made my life. Thank you so much for noticing our podcast and for making a funny little comic about us. I showed it to my husband, and who, of course, doesn't really understand the reference, but he's like, "Is that what he thinks you look like?" I'm like, "I hope not, but you know what? I'll take it. I'm just so excited."
Yes, it was very fun to see that. And I think I texted Ashley after I saw, and I said, if we made it on a Reddit meme, have we made it? Like, have we made it out there in the world?
We did it. It only took a year. But you know what? I'll take it. Yes. I was trying to think about other podcasts I listened to. At what point, did I find them? What episode number, were they on? So, I mean.
When I found my favorite podcast, they were already in their 300s, 400s.
Yeah. So, all right, we got a ways to go then, Abby.
I know.
And today, final chapter, it's going to be a bit of a longer one. And like we have done in the past, if it's an epic episode, there will be more quotage because we still have to pay homage to our man Tolkien. And I can only summarize and riff so much of his works. I have to pay homage and I have to give him his due diligence. So there's going to be lots of quotes in this. Yeah.
Keep this at a reasonable podcasting time.
Yes. Yeah. No, it's not going to be too bad.
Okay. Sorry,
there is a sleeping.
Sorry.
Stop it.
Oh, sorry.
There's got to be other chairs in your house.
They're all squeaky.
Sit on the floor.
But it's a hardwood floor. Dang it.
It's a hardwood floor for Abby. Okay, so how much do you remember of last week?
I remember that we got to hear more of the cool story of Elrond's parents, which I don't really like to classify them as Elrond's parents. They are the people who made and birthed him, but they did not do much after that. I mean, she raised him for a few years, but she was also by herself. Her husband was not with her. He doesn't get credit. But Elrond's father, whose name is escaping me, but also starts with an E.
Eärendil.
He just couldn't stay away from that sea. Just couldn't take it. So he's still out there on the sea, and his wife is with him because after her boys got kidnapped, she went to him instead of trying to find her boys. And they were on the ship, and they found the shores of Valinor, which is crazy because no one has ever done that before. But they think that the Silmaril guided them there, right? Because they think that the light of the Silmaril, of it being the pure light of a Valar made light. Yeah. That it kind of was their
homing
beacon, I guess. The way to be able to break down the barriers of the enchantments to lose people's way, I guess. And so they got over there, and it was up in the air of could he even step foot on the actual
on Valinor
land?
What would happen if you stepped foot on Valinor?
Yeah. And you are not worthy of Valinor.
Yes.
And he got there, and it was deserted, and he couldn't find anybody. And then to find out I was correct, and they were all partying somewhere else.
Yep, you called that.
Okay, wait, back up. He went there, and he finally found the Valar. Sorry.
It's tricky because he is on Valinor to talk to the Valar. Yeah.
And he was saying, hey, why are you guys all partying over here when we are literally dying and suffering over on Beleriand? Is that what they're calling it?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's what the crap, you guys? He's all upset that he finds them not caring, I guess. And so he's like, will you help us? Please help us fight Morgoth because he is your enemy as well. And
their brother.
They said, maybe?
They're like, well, hold on. First things first. Mortals aren't allowed on Valinor, so we have to figure out what to do with you first. So they're like, let's talk about it. And they're like, okay. They're like kind of like huddle and like, okay, should we allow him in? And Mandos is like, And I'm almost like, but he's my friend. I kind of like him. I mean, you know, if you think about it, if you really think about it, he's more of an elf than a man. Because, I mean, he's half elf, half man. But I think I'm getting the more of a vibe that he's an elf. I'm like, I guess we're going to have to figure out what to do with these people because this is probably going to come up. So how about we let them decide if they are going to be considered elves or considered men? So
it's like Robbie in Hotel Transylvania, where he has to dress him up like a monster. And he's like, I'm going to fool everybody here, but you have to choose in the end where you want to be.
Yes. So he decides that he's going to let Elwing decide because he's just so tired. And Elwing has been hanging out with the Teleri and telling them all about the awesome place Beleriand is. And so she's like, you know what? I think I like being an elf, so I want to be considered an elf. And he's like, I want it to be more like a man, but fine, whatever. I'll just do what you want. So together, Arendil and Elwing are going to be considered elves. And then the Valar take care of Arendil's shipmates and somehow whisk them away from Valinor on a different boat. And we had multiple endings for those guys, but, you know, we'll never really know what happened to them. And then they take Arendil's boat, Vingalot, and with the diamond dust that is also pixie dust, we decided, they send it flying up to the stars, where Arendil sails through the heavens and is now the evening star. But apparently the sky and stars are too cold for Elwing, so the Valar built her a tower where she can hang out with her bird friends who teach her how to fly. So the next time Arendil decides to visit, she just goes up and flies to him like she did in the olden days as a bird, because apparently she can do that now.
Aww.
So yeah, that's where we left things. Arendil is now a star, and Elwing is sometimes a bird.
Well, at least they didn't die horrible deaths. They weren't the best parents. They kind of had a strained relationship.
Oh, I got some memes coming with their strange relationship.
But
I'm taking a hard stance on that.
I would love to hear other views,
opinions.
If they think.
Is it just me? Was I the only one that saw that?
Yeah. Hey, it was when you told me about it. That's what I thought of. So,
but maybe I skewed your view. I don't know. But anyways, so that's where we left things. Are you ready for the final chapter? What's going to happen next?
I can't believe it's the final chapter already.
I know. So, while Arendil has been becoming a star, Elwing is sometimes a bird, the people of Middle-earth have just continued about their lives, totally unaware of all that has happened on Valinor with Arendil and Elwing and everything else. All I know is that Arendil has been gone for a long time, and maybe some of them know or even saw Elwing, quote-unquote, jump into the ocean, but I don't think they knew about the whole bird thing. It's not clear. But they're like, okay, well, there goes our leadership. So I guess we have to just continue life. So it's not clear, again, how much time has passed since the kinslaying at the Havens of Sirion. But the survivors that were there all fled to live with Círdan and Gil-galad's people further down the coast. And as far as we know, Maglor and Maedhros still have Elrond and Elros captive, quote unquote.
Okay. I was thinking about this. Just a really quick sidebar about how they were air quotes kidnapped.
Right.
And I firmly believe that they were kidnapped, they were taken, but I don't think they were taken by Maedhros, who became their father figure. You know what I mean? I think they were taken by one of the other brothers. That
Maglor.
The more mean one. But
no, there's no one left. It's only Maglor and Maedhros.
So I feel like this is my thought process, because I was like, you don't just kidnap them and be like, I'm going to raise you right.
Yeah.
It just kind of is weird. But my thought process is they took them in the mental state of being angry. But then when they saw them, the brothers, and they're like, we've ruined our family. I used to have brothers, and then my father had brothers who he betrayed and all this stuff. And I think that they went into it with like the heat of anger, but then they were like, I can't do this. Like, I can't. But then their dad is gone and their mother left. So I feel like they're like, well, we can't go back now, which is also weird because I feel like they would have had like a village or like other people to like help raise them. But they're
Where's
like,
the nanny? Where's nanny for Elrond and Elros?
So I'm thinking they went into it angry, realized that, hey, we're ruining more families and more lives, like ours got ruined. We can't return them. Let's see if we can live out the rest of our lives doing a good deed. And maybe change some narrative about our family.
Yeah,
so
maybe.
That was my thought process because I was like, who does that? Who like kidnaps someone? And then was like, never mind. Dang it. Guess what? You're mine now, son.
Well, and I just wish we could had more details on them because it's just not very clear on the timeline of like, so I think they were 6 when they were taken captive. And then as you're going to see these events transpire today, we don't really hear about the timeline of Elrond and Elros. We're going to hear about what happens to Maglor and Maedhros, but Elrond and Elros are just out of the picture as far as, you know. So I don't know where they are.
They're preteens. No one wants to talk about preteens.
Yeah, that's true. That's an awkward stage.
Really bad haircut. He just didn't really be around. Hormones were crazy.
Acne's off the charts. He's squeaking the voice. So that's how we left things in Middle Earth. Until one day, the people notice a new star in the sky.
Their dad?
Quote, and they took it for a sign and called it Gil Estel, the Star of High Hope.
Oh, is it? Okay, I know we're going to go into this because we're going to watch the Rings of Power show together and kind of dissect whatever. But I remember a scene where he's like, he came from a star or something like that. And then like the old Hobbit guy is like, I don't ever hear of stars or
becoming people.
Becoming people. And he's like, I remember, or what does he say? Like people
but I haven't heard of
stars or something like
that. Yeah. I remember that now too. I don't know how they knew that, but yeah, somehow for right now, it's just a star. And they're seeing it as a sign of hope. And they're seeing it as better times are coming. You know, things might be bad, but this is a sign of hope. However, when Maedhros and Maglor see the new star, they have a very different reaction to it. So this is how their conversation goes down. Maedhros, surely that is a Silmaril that shines now in the west. Maglor, if it be truly the Silmaril which we saw cast into the sea that rises again by the power of the Valar, then let us be glad, for its glory is seen now by many, and is yet secure from all evil.
Oh, so they're cool with it being in the sky.
Well, I find really interesting that Maglor's reaction is like that, because these are the last 2 sons of Fëanor. Their oath was to reclaim the Silmarils because they rightly belong to their father. But I think Maglor saw it more like he wants to keep the Silmarils safe from evil. Like he's their protector.
It doesn't matter if they have it. It's that it's not in the hands of evil.
Right. Well, it does matter a little bit that they have it because maybe he sees it like the Sons of Fëanor are the only ones who could truly protect it from falling into evil hands again, maybe. Maglor is like the eternal optimist, and he just wants to share the Silmarils with everyone, and he's just like the sunshine and rainbows of the...
And you get a Silmaril.
Yeah, but there is one more person on Middle Earth who noticed this new star. What do you think Morgoth thought of this new star?
I was just going to say, Morgoth. It's like, hey, I know who makes stars.
Well, he was at first, quote, filled with doubt. Yet it is said that Morgoth looked not for the assault that came upon him from the west, for so great was his pride become that he deemed that none would ever again come with open war against him. Moreover, he thought that he had forever estranged the Noldor from the Lords of the West, the Valar, and that content in their blissful realm, the Valar would heed no more his kingdom in the world without. For to him that is pitiless, the deeds of pity are ever strange and beyond reckoning. So Morgoth first sees the star, and he's like, what the heck is that thing? I guess it's nothing. Because he's just so secure in his rule in Middle Earth. He's like, well, it's not bothering me. And what are the Valar really going to do? I mean, I've wreaked so much havoc over the years and they haven't lifted a finger. So, well, yeah, I'm good. But I also think it's funny that Morgoth thinks that he has constructed the Noldor and Valar to be estranged. Like, yeah, I made that happen. But all you did was steal this. Yeah, you stole the Silmarils and you maybe planted some seeds of revolt in Fëanor. But there's no way he could have known that all the stuff would have gone down from that. Like, okay.
Yeah.
Just
a little full of himself.
But I also do love the line that he's not capable of pity himself, so he doesn't understand pity when others use it. Like, that is a very typical thing for villains and tyrants and, things like that. I wonder if Tolkien saw that in his times of maybe like war, or if it was in other parts of his life that he noticed that. But I think that there's people throughout history.
Of when someone saves the villain and they're like, why did you do that? Wait, what?
Yeah. Needless to say, Morgoth isn't worried about this new star or the Valar at all. But maybe he should have been, because the Valar are preparing for battle.
Yes, finally.
So, right? So, on the side of the Valar, here's the lineup.
Can it be like an NFL, like
playing on this corner? We have, and then his theme song plays as they come rolling out.
Yeah.
So we have the Vanyar, which are the elves of Ingwe. These are the elves that stayed in Valinor. We kind of refer to them as like the Hollywood elite. They're kind of the Valar's favorites. So
they would be partying while people are suffering on Balerion.
Yes, very much so. Also, let's not forget that there are Noldor elves who did not follow Fëanor, because either they didn't follow Fëanor in the first place, or like our buddy Finarfin, the often not talked about, but third brother of Fëanor and Fingolfin, he turned back after the first kinslaying. Do you remember that?
He's smart, I feel.
So we have the Vanyar, the Hollywood elite, and the Noldor who decided not to follow Fëanor.
Who's Galadriel's dad? Which one?
Finarfin. Yeah.
Okay.
So the last group on Valinor left are the Teleri. Now, they kind of have some trust issues because, there was the whole kinslaying in Aqualande and Fëanor's theft of their ships. I don't like using this word, but the book uses the word rape of their ships.
Taken without consent. Yes.
Yes. So they weren't really thrilled to join in the fight. However, because Elwing had befriended them and told them of the horrible life the people of Middle Earth had been living under Morgoth, also with her being the great-granddaughter of Thingol, brother of Olwe, the leader of the Teleri on Valinor, if you're making that connection.
Her grandma was
Luthien.
Maiar, right?
Great-grandma was a Maiar. I think it's more the connection to Thingol, because Thingol's brother is Olwe, who is actually the leader of the Teleri on Valinor.
Oh.
It's pretty distant, but it's still a meaningful connection to them. So she is able to convince the Teleri to join in the fight.
Okay.
Quote, and they sent mariners enough to sail the ships that bore the host of Valinor east over the sea. Yet they stayed aboard their vessels, and none of them set foot upon the hitherlands.
What movie is it where he's like, will you join me? Let's go! And he runs, but no one follows behind him.
Fëanor, maybe?
No, there's a movie scene that's like that. And he's like, let's go! And he's like, ah! And then he slows down. And then he's like, wait, Why isn't anybody following me? Now it's going to bother me.
You think about it, because I imagined this discussion in my head, and it went down something like this. Like, hey, do you want to join us to help defend the elves and men of Middle-earth against Morgoth? And the Teleri are like, heck no. They killed most of us, stole our ships, and didn't even give them back. They burned them. Who does that? Like, okay, I totally get it.
Killed a lot of people.
How about we just, like, borrow some of your ships? So, like, you don't even have to go. Like, oh, so you think you can just sail our ships to Middle Earth? Like, you couldn't even make it out of the harbor without our help. Like, okay. So maybe could you just, like, drop us off in Middle Earth? Like, well, maybe, I guess, but we will not be leaving our ships for 1 second, because we're not having some crazy Noldor elf take our ships again. Okay, so just drop us off and then just wait around to pick us up after the fighting is all done. Like, fine, just make it quick, okay? Like, I have this, like, car. Yes. So I love that they're, like, so conditional. Like, we'll help you, but here are our conditions.
And we
have to sail the ship.
I also get to choose all the road trip snacks, okay?
Yeah.
Not you guys.
And the music. Yeah. So, with an army of the Valar, the Vanyar, the Noldor on Teleri ships, the battle begins. You ready for some epic quotage here? Quote, "But at the last, the might of Valinor came up out of the west, and the challenge of the trumpets of Eonwë filled the sky, and Beleriand was ablaze with the glory of their arms. For the host of the Valar were arrayed in forms young and fair and terrible, and the mountains rang beneath their feet."
Oh, man. So are any of the official Valar fighting?
I believe they are.
Oh.
So I find it funny. We have always compared the elves to Marvel characters, like the Avengers.
Mm-hmm.
But whenever I think of the Valar, I automatically think of Greek gods.
Yeah.
Because they always make themselves look young and fair, but also they're, like, terrifying.
Mm-hmm.
Quote, "The meeting of the West, the Valar, and of the North is named the Great Battle and the War of Wrath. There was marshaled the whole power of the throne of Morgoth, and it had become great beyond count, so that Unfoglith could not contain it, and all the North was aflame with war."
Okay, the War of Wrath is, like, the most metal, like,
right?
Like a death metal album or death metal band named that.
Yes.
War of Wrath.
Yes. And remember, Anfoglith was that dusty, barren wasteland created by the Battle of Sudden Flame. It's a pretty big, it's a pretty big area. And it's saying that the host of Morgoth, all the soldiers and creatures in his army couldn't contain all of the people.
I was just looking it up that there's a War of Wrath theme from Rings of Power show.
Oh.
Which I think
well,
is
that's
cool.
Probably in the beginning.
I know, but they named it that, which I think is pretty cool.
Yeah. Quote, "But it availed him not," him meaning Morgoth. "The Balrogs were destroyed, save some few that fled and hid themselves in caverns inaccessible at the roots of the earth. Maybe like in Khazad-dûm. And the uncounted maybe. And the uncounted legions of the orcs perished like straw in a great fire, or were swept like shriveled leaves before a burning wind. Few remained to trouble the world for long years after." So I love these quotes that are, like, putting the beginning of Rings of Power kind of, it's making sense how they're like, we haven't seen orcs in years. This is why.
They all got murdered or scared.
Mm-hmm. Quote, "And such few as were left of the three houses of the elf friends," the Edain, "fathers of men, fought upon the part of the Valar."
So did everybody on Middle Earth know that this was going to happen?
I had that same question, because that's going to come up later, because there's going to be a time that I'm like, well, where were they? What happened to them?
Where was Gondor? When
the Westfold fell. But we're actually going to take a quick detour here because right now it lists a bunch of men that the Edain are fighting to avenge. I don't know why Tolkien decided to name these men specifically. Some of these men make more sense. Well, yeah. So some make more sense than others because some of them I could barely remember or figure out their real significance to the story. But Tolkien named them specifically for a reason. So I'm going to name them and give a very brief summary of them, and then we can just move on. But I just, like you said, I feel like they deserve their limelight.
They're in memoriam, like at the beginning of like the Oscars and stuff.
Yes. So first we have Baragund. He was the father of Morwen. He's Turin's grandpa, and he lived as an outlaw in hiding until they were betrayed and everyone was killed except Beren, if you remember that story.
Cool.
So, for Baragund! Then we have Barahir. He was the father of Beren, who saved Finrod's life in battle and was given the ring of Barahir that later would be passed to Beren and then much later passed to Aragorn. He also died in that same betrayal as Baragund. So, for Barahir too!
Just imagine us raising our steins, our glasses to them.
And then we have Galdor. He is Hurin and Hor's father, who died defending Fingolfin's fortress in the Battle of Sudden Flame. So, for Galdor! Then we have Gundor, who is Galdor's brother, who also died defending Fingolfin's fortress in the Battle of Sudden Flame, although I think it might have been a different time in battle. They were defending that fortress for a while, but for Gundor too! Then also we have Hurin, which makes the most sense to me, father of Turin and Nienor, who fought like a bad A in the Battle of Unnumbered Tears, literally the last man standing, allowing his buddy Turgon of Gondolin to retreat, taken captive, cursed by Morgoth, forced to watch the soap opera of his children's cursed lives. I think if
his
anyone
wife died in his arms.
Yeah. And then we have, for Hurin! And then we have Hur, father of Tuor, who also fought bravely in the Battle of Unnumbered Tears alongside his brother Hurin until he took a poisoned arrow to the eye. So, for Hur! Anyways, those were the lists of men that they specifically mentioned. In the remaining Edain are fighting for these guys' honor.
Yes. And they said their list before they ran out to the battlefield.
Yes.
Did we forget anyone? No.
I feel like they forgot quite a few, but anyways. Like it showed in the Rings of Power show, though. Sorry, we're going to be bringing that up a lot today, but I feel like this time is... The Rings of Power show is based off of a lot of what happens in this chapter. So there were some men who did fight alongside Morgoth, not the Valar. These could have been the people of Uldor. Uldor was one of the Easterlings that the Sons of Fëanor had befriended during the Battle of Unnumbered Tears. And then at the last minute, they switched sides and betrayed the Sons of Fëanor. So it could have been those people. Yeah. Also could have been more men that had come over from the east. But this is just further proof as to why the elves were so uptight about watching over the Southlanders in the Rings of Power show. And Tolkien literally quotes here, and the elves do not forget it. Like, we do not forget which men fought on which side. Like, we're going to, be nice to the ones who fought with us, and we will not forget the ones who chose not to fight with us.
Yes. Because
you're not trustworthy.
They're not trustworthy, but also I feel like they watched them do the double agent kind of thing. So they're like, I think they're more hurt instead of like, they're just not trustworthy. They're just like, we helped you and you helped us for a little bit, but then you chose that? Yeah. So I think it's fueled by hurt.
That's
instead of just like, I just don't like you.
Yeah. So with the Valar, the elves, and the Edain, apparently no dwarves fought in this at all. I find that kind of funny, but whatever.
I thought there were some dwarves that were helpful.
You would think so, but none are mentioned here, which I that was one of my questions, is how much of Middle-earth knows about what is happening in this battle? I don't know. It's not clear. So anyways, they start crushing Morgoth's forces, and he's starting to panic. Not enough to come out and fight them himself, because, that's not Morgoth's way. He likes to send his henchmen to do his dirty work. But
Mm-hmm.
he's starting to get nervous. So he sends out his last secret weapon. Quote, "But he loosed upon his foes the last desperate assaults that he had prepared, and out of the pits of Angband there issued the winged dragons that had not before been seen.
Oh
And
my
so
gosh.
sudden and ruinous was the onset of that dreadful fleet that the host of the Valar was driven back. For the coming of the dragons was with great thunder and lightning and a tempest of fire."
So, growing up, I always thought, man, dragons are so cool. It would be so cool to like ride a dragon or see dragons and stuff like that. But
Big
like
Tolkien of you.
reading The Hobbit and watching The Hobbit, I'm like, oh, that's terrifying. Like,
Yes.
imagine not being able to run away and just being like rained upon with fire, like lava fire, and not being able to get away from that. And then there's other dragons that can do other crazy things. It's like,
Like hypnotize you?
oh, yeah, okay. They are cool to look at, but now I understand the fear aspect of a dragon.
Right.
That's
just you wait.
terrifying.
Yeah. So we now officially have dragons that can fly. Myth debunked that Glaurung had wings because he didn't. These are the
How do
first
you
ones
get
that
places
had wings.
so fast?
Slithering.
Is he like from Monsters Inc? Randall?
Randall?
Just Randall slithers everywhere.
Yes, or I just thought of that one thing from Rescuers Down Under.
Joanna, did you eat my
Yes. Yes.
These are
thank
not Joanna's eggs.
I knew you'd know. But I really wish they could have given us more details on these dragons. Like, we're going to learn one name later and kind of a description, but I kind of want like a Harry Potter. Like, I want to know, do they have horns? Are they spiky?
Oh, yeah, I love that in
What
Harry Potter.
colors are they?
Explain the different dragons.
Yeah. We do not get that here. For a man who loved dragons enough to create a book about them, come on. Anyways, with his last secret weapon, Morgoth has managed to push back the Valar. So the Valar are scrambling. What are they going to do? Who's going to save the day? They can't fly, apparently. I mean, I feel like they could.
Is Manwë helping?
Yes.
Is Ulmo helping?
Yes. Everyone apparently is helping. It doesn't specifically say, but I'm assuming everyone is helping. But this is the thing that I expected the least, I will say. Did not see this one coming. And I have so many questions.
Is this when the dwarves come in?
No. Quote, "But Erendiel came, shining with white flame, and about Vingalot," his ship that of course now flies, "were gathered all the great birds of heaven, and Thorondor was their captain. And there was battle in the air all the day and through a dark night of doubt."
Whoa. So he flew in his chariot thing, and then there's like birds that are attacking the Are they different kinds of birds? Are they like eagles?
I had the same exact questions. I have so many questions. Like, okay, so all of the great birds, is that only eagles? Were there other kinds of birds as well? What were their fighting methods? Like, the eagles seem to use their talons a lot to like pick up stuff, but maybe like a huge flock of seagulls could do some damage. I mean, I don't know.
They just all do that a really annoying noise, and then the dragons are like, I can't take it anymore.
But, obviously, I love that he puts that Thorondor as their captain. I mean, who else would be that? I mean, he has a wingspan the size of the Cinderella castle at Disney World. But I want to know, how is an eagle captain distinguished? Does he have an armband? Does he have epaulets? Does he have a hat? I need to know.
It's a giant, like, Napoleon hat.
Exactly, that's what I pictured. But also, here's my biggest question.
Now. It is me.
What is Erendiel fighting with? Does Vingalot have cannons? Were cannons even a thing?
What drives his chariot?
Pixie dust.
Birds? Oh.
Pixie
dust.
Have
anything? It just flies?
No.
It just flies? But it's a ship, right?
Yes.
He's just hitting them with his oars.
No. Here's what I picture. He uses the ship like a spear, like in Little Mermaid, how Eric kills Ursula.
Oh.
That is the only thing that I see happening. But no, seriously,
what movie is it that he's like hitting them with the oar of a boat?
Well, it's in the Disneyland game where they hit them.
No, it's in Pirates of the Caribbean where she's like fighting off the pirates, Elizabeth is, and she's just like hitting them with the oar. Like really sad. Like,
Anyways, somehow, quote, before the rising of the sun, Erendiel slew Encalagon the Black, the mightiest of the dragon host, and cast him from the sky. And he fell upon the towers of Thangorodrim. Remember, those are the creepy towers above Angband. And they were broken in his ruin.
Whoa. I was going to say, I really hope it doesn't land on, like, everybody else. I killed him, you guys. Oh, dang it. Sorry.
I took out half the army with it. Okay, so I'm going to send you an email really fast that has a size comparison.
All right. Is it this JPEG?
Yeah, it's really blurry, but you'll get the point.
Oh, geez.
Okay, so here we have baby,
like a chunky boy.
He is a chunky boy. He doesn't have wings.
He has a thick neck like a bodybuilder.
Right? But look how big. I cannot just terrify. And Calagon is huge. But look at baby Smoke. Look at baby
Smoke was so big, though.
I know. So imagine how big Calagon was.
I mean, like I said before, it's tough because they look so dang cool. But also... yeah.
Terrifying. Yeah. But needless to say, somehow Erendiel killed him.
Who's Scatha?
He's a baby. I don't know the other ones.
Oh.
Maybe we'll find out in
get
other
to
books,
know them later.
Yeah. And I'll share that on the Instagram too, the size comparisons. But
Glauron,
basically, Enkalong is huge.
Glauron looks like the little fire lizard from Frozen 2.
Bruni?
Yeah. But like chunky and scary.
And spiky.
Yeah. We'll put this picture up on our Instagram so you guys know what we're talking about.
Right. But I just needed you to see it.
That's terrifying and huge.
Yes. So how do you kill a dragon like that with a ship other than the Ursula method? I mean, that's
the Drax method.
You gotta go from the inside.
Yeah, that's what happened. He swallowed the ship.
Yes. So, quote, then the sun rose, and the host of the Valar prevailed, and well nigh all the dragons were destroyed, and all the pits of Morgoth were broken and unroofed, and the might of the Valar descended into the deeps of the earth.
Whoa.
They won!
Woohoo!
Valar!
You know what I want to see in the Rings of Power? If they ever go up there, I want to see like dragon skeletons. That'd
be awesome. Quote, there Morgoth stood at last at bay, and yet unvaliant. He fled into the deepest of his mines and sued for peace and pardon. But his feet were hewn from under him, and he was hurled upon his face. Then he was bound with the chain and Gainor, which he had worn aforetime, and his iron crown they beat into a collar for his neck, and his head was bowed upon his knees. What
dang. They swept
Why
the
do
leg.
I have... they just
swept
like...
the leg. No.
Yeah.
They did like in the rodeo where they like grab the little calf and then like flip it over and like they run and they tackle it and then they flip it over and then they like tie their legs up.
Hog tie it?
Yeah.
Yes. I have such a hard time taking Morgoth seriously. Like, I feel like Sauron never would have fled and begged for peace and pardon. Like, I feel like Sauron is way scarier, but somehow he is less powerful.
Yeah.
Like, I don't understand. Yeah.
It's because I think he got a little lazy. He got a little lazy from everybody else doing all the work for him. Okay. Yeah. I know it's like semi off topic, but it's just like a thought process I've always had of
Okay.
like mob bosses or like
Yeah.
scary bosses in like movies or TV shows and stuff. Let me give you an example. Jabba the Hutt. Okay. People
Yes.
work for Jabba the Hutt. Like people are scared of Jabba the Hutt. People
Right.
like do everything for Jabba the Hutt. That boy can't run. Like what is he gonna
Right.
do? What is he gonna do?
Right.
Like I don't
Right.
get what he does that
That's
is
so
so
scary.
terrifying
Right.
that people are like, oh, we have to, like, you're our leader. We have to do everything you say. We're scared of you.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
I
that's a
know
good
that
point.
doesn't fully apply to Morgoth because he has shown that he has great power and he has done stuff. But if you look back, like probably 75% of everything that bad has happened, he has not done. Like
Right. Yeah, for
himself.
sure. Yeah.
And so I don't get like that whole like, oh, he's terrifying. It's like, what is he doing though? Like he's not
Right.
like I know he's has all these things doing the work for him,
Right.
but
But what does he
what
do
is
that is so
he
scary?
doing?
Yeah.
And so I'm thinking
Yeah, that's a great
he
point.
lost his touch.
Mm-hmm.
He's hogtied right now.
Mm-hmm. I do love the image of his scary crown being turned into a collar for his chain, though. Like that's,
You know what that kind of
I
reminds me
love
of?
that.
You know
What?
what kind of reminds me of? It's not the like truly the same thing, but it kind of reminds me of it. Is that part in Game of Thrones where he's like, "You promised me a crown of gold or whatever."
Oh, yeah. A crown for a king.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like, ooh,
Yeah.
yikes.
I love the irony. But what happened to the two Silmarils that were in the crown? What do you think happened to them? The Silmarils, quote, were taken from his crown, and they shone unsullied beneath the sky. And Eonwë took them and guarded them.
Eonwë is
Monway's
who?
herald, the Maiar helper guy.
Oh, okay,
He's like Monway's right-hand man, his
right.
lieutenant. So, the Valar have Morgoth in chains. We have the two Silmarils. I call this a good day. I mean, let's call it a
Things are
win.
looking up. Things are coming up, Millhouse.
Yeah. Quote, thus an end was made of the power of Angband in the north, and out of the deep prisons a multitude of slaves came forth beyond all hope into the light of day, and they looked upon a world that was changed.
Huh.
Like all these poor people that have been like slaves for years. This is a list of people I'd be interested in seeing. Like, how many were there? How long had they been slaves? Like, oh, I thought you died. Like,
Yeah. Oh.
but this next part explains something that might have been confusing to those who first started reading the Silmarillion. It certainly confused me at first when I first started reading it.
Okay.
Quote, for so great was the fury of those adversaries that the northern regions of the western world were rent asunder, and the sea roared in through many chasms, and there was confusion and great noise, and rivers perished or found new paths, and the valleys were upheaved, and the hills trod down, and Sirion, remember that was the big river in Beleriand, was no more.
Huh.
So, like, when I first read the Silmarillion and understood that it took place in Middle Earth, you know, I was very confused by, like, the place names and the topography because there was places that I recognized, but some that I didn't. Well, this is why. Because the whole Earth changed after this battle.
Weird.
Yes.
That's an intense battle.
Right. So that brings the question, like you were asking earlier, like, where were the dwarves? Did the people of Middle Earth know what was happening? Like, well, what happened to them when all this battle was happening, when all these things were being moved around?
Uh-huh.
So I just sent you another email that has
Okay.
3 links in it.
All right.
And of course, we're going to post these on the Instagram. So the first one, and it's going to be kind of hard to see. You have to zoom in a
There's
bit. But if you look towards the
panels. 5,
yes.
10, 15,
But if you
20,
look towards
25, 30, 35, 40. 40 panels.
But if you look towards the bottom, so the bottom 3, so you have like the black is where Morgoth was like everywhere.
Uh-huh.
And the blue was like the last people that were left. Or no, the blue is the Easterling. So not much humanity
Swarthy
left.
men.
Yes. But then the next panel over, 587, that is after the battle. That is all water.
Oh.
That is water now. The white is the only remaining land left.
What? Well, what's that?
So if you go to the next one.
That's so small.
Yeah. So if you look at the next one, this isn't exact. And like I saw in the comments, there was a lot of dispute about it. I know it's not exact. These are people just trying to figure out visuals. The mountain range that the dwarves were living in that were kind of dividing the East and West Beleriand, that is now very much on the coast.
Yeah. Weird. Because like,
one.
I feel like Doriath was a name I remember from Lord of the Rings, but am I wrong? Wait a minute.
He's gone.
Is that why it's called Middle Earth now? Because it's whatever is left over.
No, it was called Middle Earth before. But if you look at the last one, I find this interesting. So in this last one, it's kind of a zoom in on what the coastline looks like now and some of the spots that are land.
Whoa.
So
it's all gone.
Yeah. So
how did it do that?
Morwen, the sea just took over. So that Tol Morwen triangle. Remember when I told you when Morwen and Turin and Nienor were buried and their gravestone would not be damaged by anything?
Uh-huh.
It's literally like an island out there.
Whoa.
This Tol Fuin. It's kind of confusing, but as far as I understood, that is for some reason the creepy forest that we were in a few times. Himling is a random. Yeah, that got to stay. Himling is a random part of the north that Fingolfin was living in. But you see that Belagost and Nogrod, those are the dwarf cities that were on the far east before.
Huh. So what happened?
So we're living
who did everybody like evacuate?
That's my question.
Was this over the period of like hundreds of years?
That is my question as well. Like,
I have like so many questions. Situation where they're like, it's sinking. We have to get off.
No idea. And, you know, I wonder, like, where was Maedhros and Maglor during the battle? It doesn't mention them.
They were raising their sons. They were being good fathers. They're not going to let their sons be fatherless again.
Well, so back to their story. With Morgoth now gone, Eonwë, on orders from Monwë, sends out a proclamation. All of the elves of Beleriand need to leave Middle-earth and go back to Valinor. I don't really understand this. Morgoth's gone now. Why can't they stay there? But okay, whatever.
No, but he's like, I'm not going to let my pretty babies get hurt anymore. I'm taking. You had your chance. I'm taking them back.
You had your fun. Now let's go. Let's go, kids. Let's go.
Yeah.
The playground's closed.
Yeah.
So when Maglor and Maedhros receive the message, though, they completely ignore it.
What? Well,
quote,
they've got sons to raise.
Quote.
No.
And they prepared, though now with weariness and loathing, to attempt in despair the fulfillment of their oath. For they would have given battle for the Silmarils were they withheld, even against the victorious host of Valinor, even though they stood alone against all the world.
So they're still pretty selfish.
Yeah.
Right?
Like, we got this oath to do. But they're very, I love that they're like, with weariness and loathing, like, ugh, I'm so sick. I just want to be done with it. Can we be done with it yet? So with Eonwë being in charge of the Silmarils now, what is always the Sons of Feanor's first action when trying to get the Silmarils from someone?
Murder them.
That's their second one.
No, they write a very stern letter.
Yes. So they write him a letter. I don't know why I love that detail. Please, just give us the Silmarils. We're so tired.
Please.
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 Quote, but Eonwë answered that the right to the work of their father, which the sons of Fëanor formerly possessed, had now perished because of their many and merciless deeds, being blinded by their oath, and most of all, because of their slaying of Dior and the assault upon the havens. Like, you guys lost your privileges. Like, you guys have done too much bad stuff. You can't have the Silmarils.
That's why I feel like they were trying to clean their record with raising those two boys.
Right. So, we're taking the Silmarils back to Valinor where they belong. You guys should go back to Valinor too, because you guys need to be judged by the Valar to decide what your punishment needs to be for all the bad stuff you've been doing.
Okay.
So Maglor, he's like, okay, I give up. Let's do this. Yes, we did some bad stuff. Let's just go to Valinor, face the Valar, hear them out.
Okay.
Quote, the oath says not that we may not bide our time, and it may be that in Valinor all shall be forgiven and forgot, and we shall come into our own peace.
Uh-huh.
Like, oh, Maglor, you eternal optimist, you.
It's gonna be great. It's gonna be fine.
It'll be fine.
That was ages ago.
Maedhros, on the other hand, sorry, I can't help it, is, of course, more skeptic. Let's say we go to Valinor. He lost
his hand. Everything. Yeah. He's like, this never turns out great.
Yes. So he's like, okay, let's say we go to Valinor, but the Valar don't forgive us. Our oath would still be a problem, and right under their noses, it would be even harder to fulfill. Quote, who can tell to what dreadful doom we shall come if we disobey the powers, that the Valar, in their own land, or purpose ever to bring war again into their holy realm? Like, we don't know what's going to happen. If we disobey them, then it's going to be really hard to get away with that underneath their noses. So let's just be disobedient from afar instead.
It's the whole, if I can't see you, you can't see me.
Yes, precisely. But I love Maglor. It's like he's trying to find like the fine print of this stupid oath that they made. Like, hold on, let me refer to the document.
It's got to be a loophole in here somewhere.
Got to be a loophole in here somewhere. Quote, if Manwë and Varda themselves deny the fulfillment of an oath to which we named them in witness, is it not made void? I guess.
He pulls out his glasses and looks at the document.
Yeah. But Maedhros just can't let it go. He feels like they made their oath more to Iluvatar, not to the Valar. Quote, but how shall our voices reach to Iluvatar beyond the circles of the world? And by Iluvatar we swore in our madness and called the everlasting darkness upon us if we kept not our word. Who shall release us?
Who indeed?
Who indeed? But at the same point, who's closer to Iluvatar than Manwë? Manwë's got the inside hookup to Iluvatar, so if you're going to ask anyone, why not ask him?
Yeah.
So Maglor finishes the conversation with, quote, if none can release us, then indeed the everlasting darkness shall be our lot, whether we keep our oath or break it. But less evil shall we do in the breaking. So let's pick the lesser of the two evils. Let's just break our oath and not do anything. Let's not kill any more people. Okay? And we'll just,
be good guys for once.
Be good guys, but we'll just be cursed. That's kind of our lot in life anyway.
Mm-hmm.
But in the end, Maglor gives in to Maedhros, and they make a plan to steal the Silmarils.
Oh, no. Come on, boys.
Quote, and they disguised themselves and came in the night to the camp of Eonwë and crept into the place where the Silmarils were guarded. And they slew the guards and laid hands on the jewels.
Oh my gosh, come on, you guys.
I have so many questions. Why would you sneak in at night? I thought elves and Valar, Maiar didn't need to sleep. So what's the benefit of night other than darkness? Also, what on earth kind of disguises did they use? I have so many. Did they dress up as ninjas? I need to know if they dressed up as ninjas.
It's like Mulan, where they dressed up in Mulan.
They dressed up as women.
Concubines. Ugly concubines.
And also, who was guarding the Silmarils that just got killed? Was it other elves? Other Maiar? I have so many questions.
Just some dudes. They're
Just
like,
some dudes.
let's put men on this. They're expendable.
Yeah. So, anyways, Maglor and Maedhros have the Silmarils and are running for it. Quote, "Then all the camp was raised against them, and they prepared to die, defending themselves unto the last. But Eonwe would not permit the slaying of the sons of Fëanor, and departing unfought, they fled far away."
What?
So
Okay.
it's almost like they wanted to die trying to get the Silmarils, and Eonwe could see that and wouldn't give it to them. I'm thinking more like a suicide by cop kind of thing.
But they're like, please, we feel so guilty. We can't do it anymore.
Yeah, just kill us. Just kill us. But Eonwe's like, nope, not going to give you that. You guys are going to suffer.
Uh-huh.
So, with there being 2 Silmarils and only 2 sons of Fëanor left, they decide to split up and each take one.
What? Where's like Elrond and all these things?
Exactly my question.
And then
yes.
also,
where are the
are they
boys?
considered-
Where's everyone else?
Do people know that they're being raised by them? So like, do they think like, oh, your dads are awful? Like, your dad's
Exactly
some
my
bad
question.
stuff. Like,
Yeah.
Is it going to be held over Elrond's head for the rest of his life?
No idea.
And
But
does he
excellent
know that
question.
his dad slayed dragons from the sky?
No idea. But that would be cool. So, I just want to preface this next part with a reminder that a lot of different people over the years have touched a Silmaril. And when they were made, Varda made a specific point to Fëanor that anyone who had evil in their heart would burn at the touch of the Silmaril. And this is proven. You know, when Morgoth took it, it caused him a tremendous amount of pain, which is why he put them in a crown to not touch his skin, but somehow it still caused him pain. After Beren stole it, he touched a Silmaril, but he didn't have a problem. But then when Karkaroth, the huge evil wolf, swallowed the Silmaril along with Beren's hand, it burned his insides and made him all crazy.
Yeah.
Moblong took it and famously dropped it, but it's not because it burnt him. He just apparently had slippery fingers, whatever. And then, let it go, people, of the heavy hand. Poor Moblong. And then Thingol wore it for years. No problems. And then, the most surprisingly of all, the dwarves who made the Noglamir, I assume, had to touch it when they were making the necklace, but no burning was ever mentioned. Even when they killed Thingol to steal it.
I was going to say, Thingol's done some not so great stuff, so it's surprising that he got it without hurting himself.
Right? And then the dwarves, after even just killing Thingol to steal it, still no burning mentioned. And then, when Beren got it back, no burning. Luthien wore it, no burning. Dior wore it, no burning. Elwing wore it, no burning. Erendiel wore it, all with no mention of burning.
Maybe it takes a little while to load up the evil meter.
Scanning for evil. Scanning for evil. Quote, "But the jewel burned the hand of Maedhros in pain unbearable. And he perceived that it was as Eonwe had said, and that his right thereto had become void, and that the oath was vain. And being in anguish and despair, he cast himself into a gaping chasm filled with fire, and so ended. And the Silmaril that he bore was taken into the bosom of the earth."
What?
So
Wow.
Maedhros, the eldest of the sons of Fëanor, I would say the most level-headed of the lot, allowed that stupid oath to drive him to such desperation to be part of the ruin of Doriath. And in the end, not only a part of, but to lead the kinslaying at the havens of Sirion. That led him to such an evil heart that in the end he died and took the Silmaril with him.
Wow. What a epic way to go. A fiery chasm.
Mm-hmm. And also, where is this random chasm of fire? I feel like since the war was over with, that should have been closed up.
The earth has been mucked about, as one say.
Yeah.
There's a lot of random things happening there, so maybe there was an opening, a chasm opened, and
maybe, but it's like maybe there should have been like a sign or a gate or something.
There wasn't any handrails. OSHA not approved.
So that's Maedhros. Maglor, on the other hand, quote, could not endure the pain with which the Silmaril tormented him. And he cast it at last into the sea. And thereafter he wandered ever upon the shores, singing in pain and regret against the waves. For Maglor was mighty among the singers of old, named only after Daeron of Doriath. Remember Derek from the band?
Yeah.
But he came never back among the people of the elves.
Yeah. I'm sure they would have not enjoyed him coming.
He's a bit of a downer after
that. Hey, everybody. You remember me?
Mm-hmm. I do find it interesting that he didn't kill himself, too.
I don't know. Maybe he felt like he deserved the psychological torture.
Maybe. Quote, and thus it came to pass that the Silmarils found their long homes, one in the airs of heaven with Erendil, and one in the fires of the heart of the world that Maedhros took down, and one in the deep waters that Maglor just threw in.
Huh.
Which totally makes me think of Moana. They couldn't Olmo have brought it up? Like that? Okay.
Yes.
Anyways, they are gone forever. So, with the Silmarils gone, the army that fought for the Valar returned to Middle-earth. Although they ultimately won against Morgoth, they're a little disappointed they didn't get the Silmarils back too. Quote, and they knew that those jewels could not be found or brought together again unless the world be broken and remade.
Which it is kind of broken, but...
That's what I said! I'm like, didn't they just do that? I feel like it's possible. And aren't they able to get Erendil's Silmaril back if they asked? I mean, like, Elwyn could even carry it again and deliver it, but okay, that's whatever. Okay, fine, whatever. So and I just want to throw this in there a little bit, that this is kind of where the question of the Arkenstone being a Silmaril comes into play, because if Maedhros dropped it in the earth, and then the dwarves later find it in the mountain...
Yeah,
that's kind of where that, but it's not. But I like the idea. I kind of like the idea.
It's plausible.
It's not, but it's plausible, but it's not. But anyways, when the elves of Beleriand boarded the ships and headed west towards Valinor, they stayed at the island of Tol Eressëa. Remember, that was the kind of fairy island that Osei the Water Mire was taking back and forth to take people to Valinor.
Uh-huh.
Well, they stopped here because I guess they kind of wanted like final approval from Manwë first before entering on Valinor. Like,
yeah,
are we good? Like, can we
are
go
we
back?
On the list?
Quote, they were admitted again to the love of Manwë and the pardon of the Valar. And the Teleri forgave their ancient grief. You know, the kinslaying at Alqualande and the stealing and burning of their ships. You know, that's all forgiven. And the curse was laid to rest.
Wow.
The curse of Maedhros is finally over.
Woo!
But, as we know, not all the elves left Middle-earth. Some stayed behind, specifically, quote, Círdan the Shipwright and Celeborn of Doriath with Galadriel, his wife, who alone remained of those who led the Noldor to exile in Beleriand. In Middle-earth dwelt also Gil-galad, the High King, and with him was Elrond, half-elven, who chose, as was granted to him, to be numbered among the Eldar, or the elves. But Elros, his brother, chose to abide with men.
Huh. Oh. So Elrond chose his elf side, and then Elros chose his human side.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you had to choose, which one would you really choose?
Oh, why would you choose
a
men?
Mortal man or being a beautiful elf?
Right. Quote, but Morgoth himself, the Valar, thrust through the door of night, beyond the walls of the world, into the timeless void. And a guard is set forever on those walls, and Erendiel keeps watch upon the ramparts of the sky. Yet, the lies that Melkor sowed in the hearts of elves and men are a seed that does not die and cannot be destroyed. And ever and anon it sprouts anew and will bear dark fruit even until the latest days.
Whoa, that's intense.
Mm-hmm. So Morgoth is in a forever timeout with multiple guards watching over him, which is why we don't really hear about him ever again in, like, Lord of the Rings and stuff.
So he's just trapped somewhere? He's not, like, officially dead?
Nope. He's just trapped.
Okay.
And then this is at the end of the Silmarillion. This is the last quote, but it's a little cryptic, so let me just say it and then we can piece it apart. Quote, "Here ends the Silmarillion. If it has passed from the high and the beautiful to darkness and ruin, that was of old the fate of Arda marred. And if any change shall come and the marring be amended, Manwë and Varda may know, but they have not revealed it, and it is not declared in the dooms of Mandos."
Whoa. Epic.
So, epic. So they're referring to the beautiful land that they made before elves and men and everything were, brought in, and before Morgoth messed everything up. So that was the beautiful Arda, and then it was marred when Melkor messed it all up. And it's like, it may be beautiful and pretty again. Manwë and Varda may know, but they haven't revealed it to anyone. We'll find out.
Yeah.
That is the end of the official Silmarillion.
Oh, wow. We did it!
We did it!
Yay!
Yay!
Hold on, I have a tiny co-host that's going to say yay with us. Come here, tiny co-host. Oakley. Can you say, hooray? He wants to use this microphone so bad. Okay, I apologize if you hear any sad Oakley in the background. He's sad that I kicked him out.
Well, we are almost done, Oakley. I'm sorry. You can't record without me. Okay.
It's so sad, though.
Okay, we'll do it really fast. Okay, so follow us on Instagram at Sisters of the Shire Podcast. Join our Patreon and become a patron at patreon.com/Sisters of the Shire Podcast. You can join our Patreon, Krishane, who's an elf friend of the Shire, and Dan, who is a dwarf friend of the Shire. Please rate us on whatever platform you listen to your podcast on. We just got a new rating on Spotify. Thank you for whoever did that. And also with our Reddit popularity, our Reddit claim to fame, we hit just over 5,300 plays, and we got 3 new countries.
Whoa, really? Sorry, I'm back now.
Yeah.
Wow.
No, it's okay. I just was doing the spiel. And one of them, you might know one of the countries. For some reason, I have in my head that your mom's been there, but I don't think she has.
Italy?
It's actually part of a book name title that I think you've seen and liked. It's a very tiny island in Europe, and it has a funny name of the book title.
I don't know.
Guernsey.
Oh, the Guernsey Potato Peel Society or something like that.
Yes. So thank you, Guernsey. I was Googling your country. It looks beautiful.
Ooh, cool.
Also, Cyprus is a new country.
That's pretty up there.
I was trying to find the other new country, and I think it's Albania, but I could be wrong.
Wow.
We've got vampires.
Awesome.
We've got vampires. I'm just kidding. But I'm sorry. That's kind of what you're known for.
Sorry. I feel like we rushed the very end of our epic ending of the Silmarillion. But
not at all.
Well, I have to say, hearing the end, I know there's more to the story, but the end of this last chapter, I'm happy that the Valor actually came back and helped.
Took them long enough.
I know that you had to summarize because you couldn't really read the word for word, the whole thing. But were there any epic scenes of like the Valar doing anything cool?
Okay,
or was it more just like the epicness of like fighting the dragons?
So he goes over that. He's like, by the way, we don't have any real accounts because the people that fought at the battle aren't around to ask.
Oh,
basically.
What?
Yeah. He does like, it reminded me of that scene in Game of Thrones where like you think it's going to be an epic battle scene, but they couldn't afford it. So they basically just knocked Tyrion out. Like they just had him knocked out in like the first 5 seconds of the battle. And then he woke up and the battle was over.
I can't remember.
Sorry, we couldn't.
So neither can you.
Yeah. Sorry. Due to budget cuts, we're just going to tell you what happened.
Wow. Well,
yeah.
Darn. I think that would have been really cool to have a Valar fight again.
Mm-hmm. But it's also kind of like in the beginning. I was wondering if you'd remember the first battle the Valar had with Morgoth.
Oh, yeah.
Melkor. No one saw it happen, but they just could hear it.
Yes.
So also we didn't get to know what happened in that battle either.
It's up to our imagination.
Yeah.
Well,
yep.
I can't believe it's done. I mean, we're not done.
So
we're going to still keep making content.
Oh, yeah. So we have 2 more sections. One is called the Akalabeth, which is the downfall of Numenor. So we get to learn all about Numenor.
Cool,
and then of the Rings of Power in the Third Age, in which these tales come to their end. So it's going to kind of lead us, I think, fill in the gaps a lot for us to start the movies and the show and stuff.
I'm excited for Numenor. I felt out of the loop in watching Rings of Power of the importance of Numenor.
Yep, we're going to learn all about that. And it might even go into how season 2 might end up for Rings of Power too. So, yeah.
Well, I'm sad that the Silmarillion is officially over, but I kind of find it cool that we've done it in like almost exactly a year.
I know, so close.
And I'm excited to learn more, to keep going.
Yes. There's so much more to learn.
I'm so happy for everybody who followed us through this journey of the Silmarillion, and I hope you stick with us while we go forward to other things. Mm-hmm. And Ashley, thank you for reading me the Silmarillion.
You are welcome. I hope that you were able to understand it and keep up with it and enjoy my interpretations of things.
I might not remember everyone's name, but I got it.
Well,
in the end.
You got it. I feel like you know more than the average Joe.
It's true. It's true. I did get to nerd out on someone the other day about Valar and Maiar and the making of Arda and stuff like that. It felt pretty cool. Well, thanks for teaching me today.
You're welcome. Well,
and
until next week.
And Oakley wants to say thank you to everybody. Can you say thank you? You do it. Thank you.
I heard it.
The softest thank you. Well, thank you, everybody. Like I said, I hope you continue on with us. And we love you all. And we'll put a post up, kind of like a poll of what we're doing next.
Yes.
And until next time, I've been Abby.
And I've been Ashley.
And this has been the Sisters of the Shire podcast. And we love you. And we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.